Today we've got none other than Tommy Fleetwood, and he's going to be sharing his driving secrets to help you.
Now, if you're serious about improving your game, then you need to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well so you don't miss another video.
Yes, and if you're inconsistent with your driver and you want to gain a few more yards, check out our total driving plan by downloading the app for free, and you can start it for free, so make sure you check that out.
Tommy, nice to see you.
Oh, there we go.
You are in the video as well. We are going to speak to you. I mean, look, last time, I think we're still recovering from the last iron display that you put on. It was phenomenal. It was so good. Can you remember?
Yeah,
Sure, it was the highlight of your career.
I do remember. I think I've watched the video.
There we go. But no, the
Tried
irons,
to learn something.
phenomenal, really, really good. So we thought, well, we want you to hit driver as well. You know, let's find out what makes you tick and what's going to help you with the driver. And sorry, it can help these guys with the driver as well. So when you go to the golf course, before you go, you're on the range, you warm up, you prep, ready for the game. Do you do some sort of calibration before you go out there? How does that look for you, and what can they learn from this?
For the driver, yeah, it's changed ever so slightly. I mean, I've always been such a good driver of the golf ball. I think my swing, you see some of the great drivers, my swing always, you know, has always suited driving, where I used to get it high at the top of the backswing, and I used to have the side bend, and I would, you know, drop, and I always had that, you know, big sweeping motion. So I very rarely, you know, would practice with the driver. I was always very confident with it, and always felt like it was a strength of my game, and kind of just never wanted to mess with it. I was like, I drive it well, so that's fine. But more recently, practice with it a bit more. I like having a versatile driver. I think there's so much talk these days of speed and you know, hitting bombs and stuff, and I like my driver to be a really versatile club. I like to be able to get it out there, but I also like to use it for, you know, fairway finders. I hit in the fairway. I would much rather stand on a tight hole and hit a shot with a driver than take a 3-wood out and try and hit the fairway with that. So I think the driver is such an important golf club, and at the end of the day, it's the first shot you hit on every hole, and gets you started.
Okay. Let's watch you hit a few, shall we? And let's just get you just to hitting some so we can see what it's going to do. Got flight scope in play there.
There we go.
Beautiful. And for you, Tommy, do you feel that your technique has changed over the years?
I would say
the technology's changed?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say more, there was like an evolution in my golf swing a little bit. I would say I always had drivers set up very anti-left, always for me to hang back and kind of, you know, not flip at the ball, but I could always sort of go at it hard from behind it, and it would never go left on me. So I always enjoyed that, but didn't really suit my iron swings and the fairway woods. And I think it's quite important to have a setup in your golf bag that kind of matches everything. I think there should be some continuity in there. That's just, you know, my beliefs in the game. So yeah, swings changed a bit, and you know, we're lucky that we have equipment these days that can help you do whatever you want. You can set something up for literally what you're trying to do, which is great.
And for you, I mean, you mentioned about, like you say, bombing it and hitting miles, which is a key part of the game now, but getting the balance between maximising distance but also keeping it in play is really important, obviously, for you as well.
Well, massively, yeah.
What would you do if you're in a situation, like you say, tight hole, a lot of people might be taking out hybrid 3-wood, 2-iron. What would you do if you say, right, 18th, I need to hit the fairway under pressure? What are the amateurs at home that relate to this? What would you do in that scenario?
It's a shot that I've been working on recently, actually, and there's two ways of going about it. I think you've always seen people that want to get it in play and they kind of peg it further and further down, trying to catch it at the bottom of the club or the heel, which just creates a little bit more spin and just holds the flight. So there's that. Recently I've sort of been keeping the tee the same height and started to hover the club. I'm not a hover with a golf club. I've always laid the club on the ground and gone from there. But we were working on this shot and a window that it created where I would kind of open my stance up a little bit and I would hover the club at address, which I felt like kept me very stable on the way back, but it was more of a slightly descending blow. I mean, at the end of the day, the opposite of it, when people try and hit it miles, you get behind it, you try and launch it up. So the opposite really would be to launch it down a bit, and that would keep it straighter. So I was doing a really good drill where I was putting a tee like a little bit behind the ball at a certain height. It's probably a little bit too high, and then hovering the club, and then I would have to swing sort of over it and miss it, which is kind of an iron strike drill. But the thing is, with the driver, you still don't actually descend on it as much as you think, and it just stopped me from getting too far behind it. And especially when you want to hit a fairway, that's what you want to do. You want to be more on top of it. Like, I can still, you know, peg it down if I want to, or peg it up, but having that tee height as a constant is sometimes a nice thing. Like, just the less things you have to think about, the better sometimes. And if you put that on, then
Yeah.
You're looking forward to seeing it, aren't you?
Can we hit a few of these? Because this looks really good. I've never seen this before.
No, normally.
First time ever seeing a drill like this with the driver, and it makes a lot of sense.
Well, one thing I'd say though is that again, a lot of these guys now are teeing the golf ball up really high. These are higher than I've seen maybe over the past.
Yeah. And that's just gone. Well, I'll tell you how high it's gone in a moment.
I mean, that would be the a good example of it.
55 feet. 55 feet
55 feet.
in height. I mean, that's really good. Do you want to hit a few more? Actually, we get Andy. Do you want to get a slow mo on that?
Well,
I think it'd be great to get a slow mo from the front.
And do you feel anything different in the swing there, in the motion? Is the through swing a little different?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, I'll obviously end up with a bit more sawn off follow through, like my irons a little bit. And the thing is, this doesn't go that much shorter. It carries a lot shorter, but it's gonna run. It's gonna release. It's not gonna go as short as you're thinking. It's just a sort of safer shot, really. But for me, like I definitely open my stance because the start line window is obviously different. It's gonna fade a bit more and peel. So I want to sort of give myself room up that left side where I feel like I can hit it. And then really you can think about as many things as you want about descending or, you know, hitting down or launch angle, but all I have to do is miss the tee.
Miss the tee.
If I miss the tee, then like I've done everything that I want to do in the swing. So it's quite a good thing.
Create that environment, isn't it? Just for that narrower stance by the looks of things a little bit
Yeah,
as well.
a little bit narrower. Just obviously I'm trying to again. There's things that you end up doing naturally. Like I'm never going to stand back here if I'm trying to miss the tee and get it up. So like there's things you just do. You kind of put something there, and you just figure it out from there. And I ended up standing narrower, you know, more open, hover the club.
Beautiful. It's interesting, Andy, as well, because Aaron does this, doesn't he? Aaron has the same tee height all the time. He uses, obviously, those pink Castle tees, but he has the same tee height all the time. But that was 3 degrees down, 265 carry, spin was a little higher at 3, but ball speed 172, club speed. Oh, I'm looking at lots of nice numbers.
But I mean, like the opposite would be putting a tee the other side and having to miss it by getting, you know, underneath it and launching it up. Like, you know,
there's your high bomb. Come on then,
we've got to see
that
now. Yeah, we can't do that there and not hit it.
How useful is this? Hit the like button. This is so simple.
And I mean, you can really see the difference, not only how, I mean, that's just absolutely beautiful. See the difference in
like different flight, different shape, different start lines. I mean, and like and again, that's one way when you started the conversation when we were saying how'd you calibrate like warming up. You know, after those two, just stand up and hit a stock driver, and like you've got like 3 shots, and you actually have a feeling of what square is and what sort of in between is. So it's really good.
Go to the putting range to try
and ultimate.
Video done. That was 3 degrees up as well. That was 3 degrees up. So you've gone from 3 down to 3 up just by moving a tee peg. Simple.
Change the environment. It changes your golf swing. Changes things automatically. I like it.
Okay, we've got some questions here from our members, and this I really like this one. So this is from Pip Hooley. That is the best name I've ever heard. I love that. So one tip for driving that would help a high handicapper.
You know, I'd obviously say get fitted for a driver or something, but I think people, do they try and do too much with the driver? Because you see people that come over the top and hit a slice, but you also see people trying to get underneath and stuff. I would find a shot that works for you. I always feel like, you know, golf's an unbelievably hard game. And I think it doesn't, like, people don't say how hard it is sometimes, and you know, you see people stand on a range and, you know, hit the ball and they hit it well and everything, but when you get on a golf course, you've got bunkers, you've got trees, you've got water, you actually have to keep the thing in play. And I think the one thing, you know, even for us as professional golfers, we still play within ourselves. We don't try a shot that we can't hit and everything. So I think for like high handicappers, just going on a range and hitting balls without hitting to a target, but seeing if there's a pattern in what shot you hit, and don't be afraid that that is your golf shot. Like, you know, if you're you know, a slicer or a draw and everything, if that's your golf shot and you're going to get it in play more often than not, like, play it.
It's interesting. So Sergio, Matt Wolf, filmed with them today, have both said exactly the same thing. This game is hard, and you need, I think the more we speak to good players, the more we understand that you guys know what your limitations are and you don't go outside that.
Yeah, like if we can't do something, we'll spend time practicing it before we go and take it onto the golf course. But like, you know, it's a very difficult game, and doing as many things as you can that just are within yourself and that you can do is a big thing.
Yeah, the viewers are going to like the fact that you're saying it's hard. Gives them comfort, that does. I've
got another question. Yeah, I've got Lee Roberts here. So what are your thoughts, and I actually quite like this because I think a lot of people think on this, what are your thoughts when you're over the ball and you're about to start swinging?
Yeah, I like to have I think I play my best with one swing thought. It's not going to be the same all the time. Sometimes I might be thinking of something in transition, sometimes I might be thinking of something that I want to do at impact. sometimes I might be thinking stay centered, but most of, well, pretty much everything that you've done in choosing the shot, choosing the club, choosing where you're going to hit it, visualizing the shot, that's all done before you actually set into the, set up into the golf ball. And when you're over it, some people like thinking about nothing. I like something to focus on. I like one thing to sort of focus on, because I feel like if I can have a mindset on one thing that I can do, like I'll gain confidence from being able to do that. And even if the golf shot isn't perfect, I'll think, yeah, like, my transition felt good there, that's what I'm thinking of, or, I had a good vision of what I want to do at impact there. So I wouldn't try and shove thoughts in people's heads. I would like, them to have, if they've gone for a lesson, leave that lesson with one thought, or if they've watched a video, leave that video and think, I'm going to take one thought out with me and have that in your mind. And if you can think of one thing, like, generally it's a good thing for you, and you can do it and you can gain confidence from that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we don't need to make it any more complicated.
Simple stuff, love it.
So let's hit another shot then, Tommy. So in terms of getting the most out of the driver, obviously strike is really important.
Yeah.
Maybe a few questions. There's probably a few questions in this. How do you measure and how do you work on strike? And what's the tendency if you miss the face? Where does it tend to be at?
Probably more at the bottom. Still comes from me wanting to hang back on the shot. I think ball position is a massively important thing, and I just spoke about staying centered. I think the two of those, I think, is an amazing way to calibrate strike. You have less moving parts, so I always like you're always going to play in different conditions where you might have ended up getting the ball back this week, or you're on a wide open golf course that's pretty soft, turn up the next week and like the ball's outside your left foot or somewhere, and these things vary, and that's what the game is really. You play so many different conditions in different weeks, so it's good to have something that will take care of that, and whether it's just a simple drill to make sure that ball is on your left heel or just inside that, wherever you want it, I think that is an important constant for you to have. And then sometimes if I am misstrike, like I say, I catch it out at the bottom really, that's my miss, and I might have a tendency to sway off it and never be able to get back. And I think, if I'm doing that, I'll have Finno, maybe when he's there, he'll sort of have something on my head so that I turn but don't get too far behind the ball or behind the weight line or anything, and then hit it from there. And the first few shots will probably be really poor because I've been like manipulating impact from a different position, but I know that I'm doing the right things. My ball position's good, I'm turning in a good way, and then I can find impact from there. And then if you're doing that, you then learn to find the middle of the club face from a good position, not manipulate all the time, and then you might lose it when you get out there.
So like an alignment stick, honestly.
Yeah, he'll always stuff like a golf club or alignment stick, and it might be on it. Some days I'll say I feel like I need it on my left side, so like I stay on it. Sometimes I'll say I want it on my right side, so I don't touch it, and that varies, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's like keeping that head as centered as possible when you're making a full turn.
Whilst everything else is moving around it.
I think that's key as well, and the key things in that are the wording, keeping the head centered but making a full turn, not still and sort of that limits the motion a lot really. Yeah,
completely.
Brilliant. Well, we've got to see one more shot then, Tommy. If we can.
I've got one more thing I want to. Can we play a draw as well?
A draw?
Yeah.
Well, that's generally
no
no
stock
problem.
shot.
So I know it's something you've guarded against overdoing it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, a draw for me would be the opposite of when I was hovering the club and hitting it down. So like, put the tee there, I'd get a little bit more behind it, and then try and let that club kind of release on me and see that right to left shot shape.
Okay. So tee height's a big thing. Anything on alignment with that?
Make sure you aim far enough right. I think a lot of times people don't shape it because they don't give themselves enough room for the ball to give. And don't be afraid of giving yourself plenty of room. Like if you're going to move the ball, let it start out there and come back. But when you set up too square and you actually try and find like that room to shape it, because you feel like you're going to shape it too much or double cross it, like it's that's kind of gets you in more trouble than anything else. So tee height, give it room up the right side. Let's hope it works out. Have we got a shot tracer on that?
Tell you what, I mean, Sean will put one on that. It's just absolutely beautiful to see. You haven't disappointed.
4.8 up, by the way.
4.8 up.
Yeah, spin was good. 2.2, carried it. 305, height 100, 174 ball speed, club speed 120. Good job when we're doing those challenges, those stupid challenges. Never let us do challenges with these boys ever again.
Tommy, thank you so much.
No, that was great. I love talking about the game, and I love spending time with people that are passionate about it, so thank you very much.
Where can the guys follow you on social? Where's the best place to catch you?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter. You'll find me on there. I'm official account, so please, yeah, follow me and I'll try and put some good stuff.
Brilliant. And don't forget to check out the Total Driving Plan, check the description and download the app for free, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.